Quick question. Does the dark reaction of photosynthesis happen at night? If your answer is yes, you just lost 1 mark in your board exam. See, this kind of conceptual gaps drags your percentage down. Hi everyone, I'm Sweta. Today we are doing a complete one-shot of the chapter Photosynthesis. We will fix these misconceptions, decode the diagrams and solve the last 10-year questions right now. So open your notebooks and get ready. So what we are covering today? In this video, we will cover definition and the equation. We will also cover the structure of the chloroplast. We will discuss in detail the light reaction and the dark reaction, and we will cover all the experiments which come in the examination. And we will solve the board exam questions that come from this chapter. Photosynthesis is the process by which the green plants manufacture carbohydrates in the form of glucose from carbon dioxide and water, and they produce oxygen as a byproduct. In this process, sunlight and chlorophyll is must, it is required. So when we are writing the definition, all the keywords like carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, chlorophyll, glucose, carbohydrate must be mentioned in your answer, right? So let's come to the equation of photosynthesis. 6CO2 plus 12H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives glucose, C6H12O6, 6 molecules of water and 6 oxygen molecules, 6O2. When you are writing the equation, it should be a balanced equation just like this. And do not forget to write sunlight and chlorophyll over the arrows. Otherwise, you might lose mark. Let's have a look at the structure of the chloroplast. Chloroplasts are the green colored plastid. These contain the pigment chlorophyll. So chloroplasts are a double membrane structure. Inside the chloroplast are present these thylakoids. These are single unit, and there are many such units present in a stack, and that stack of thylakoid is called as the grana. It is here in this thylakoid and the grana that the light reaction of photosynthesis take place. We will discuss the light reaction and dark reaction also. So it is here that the light reaction takes place. Inside the grana, the light reaction of photosynthesis takes place. On the walls of these thylakoid are the pigment chlorophyll present. So we know that green plants, they are green in color because chlorophyll is present as a pigment in them. So that green colored pigment is present on the walls of these thylakoid. These are present inside the chloroplast. And where are chloroplasts present? In the cells of the leaves. So these are the site of the light reaction, and the place between the thylakoids, between the grana, this place is called the ground substance, and it is here, it is also called as stroma, and it is in the stroma or the ground substance that the dark reaction of photosynthesis takes place. Let's have a look at the light reaction versus dark reaction of photosynthesis. Light reaction takes place in the grana of the chloroplast. The first step is the chlorophyll gets activated by absorbing light energy. After the activation of chlorophyll, water molecule is broken down. Photolysis of water. It breaks down to give hydrogen ion, electrons and oxygen. This oxygen is released, which is required or used up by all the living organisms for their respiration. And the hydrogen ion, this hydrogen ion is picked up by NADP and converted to NADPH. What about the electron? This electron, it reacts with ADP and converts into ATP, and the process is called photophosphorylation because addition of phosphate takes place. ATP is the energy currency of the cell, so ATP is produced by the addition of phosphate, so it is called phosphorylation. But since it takes place in the presence of light, that's why it is called as photophosphorylation. So point is that light reaction में क्या होता है? It takes place in the grana. Dark reaction takes place in the stroma. Light reaction, the first step is chlorophyll gets activated by absorbing light energy. Then photolysis of water takes place. But in dark reaction, the carbon dioxide converts into glucose.
The dark reaction is called so because it does not require light directly. It uses ATP and NADPH made in the light reaction to fix carbon dioxide into glucose. Since this reaction does not require light, so it is called dark reaction. It doesn't mean that it takes place in the dark. It is now therefore called light independent reaction.
Experiments that we get to see in exam. Let's look at this experiment, the variegated leaf experiment, which shows that chlorophyll is important for photosynthesis. We have taken a variegated plant. We have destarched the plant by keeping it in dark for 24 hours. After that, we keep the plant in sunlight for a few hours. We do the starch test in that. First, the leaf is boiled in water, then it is boiled in alcohol to remove the chlorophyll, and again it is boiled in water, and then iodine test is done. So it is seen that only the part of the leaf where the green part, that means chlorophyll, was present, it shows the iodine test, that is blue black it becomes, but the other part, they do not become blue black, so they remain brown in color. This experiment shows that chlorophyll is important for photosynthesis. If there is no chlorophyll, then photosynthesis will not take place. Like photosynthesis did not take place in the leaf where chlorophyll was absent, right? Let's see the next experiment. This experiment shows that carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis. What we do? We have first destarched. Remember, all the experiments we do by destarching the plant. That means the plant is kept in dark for about 24 hours and then the plant is kept in the sunlight. Now, when we keep the plant in the sunlight, we have made the arrangement in such a way that one leaf is kept in a jar which contains potassium hydroxide. This potassium hydroxide, as you know, it absorbs carbon dioxide, which means this leaf is not getting any carbon dioxide and the plant is kept in the sunlight. So once after keeping it for few hours, if we perform the starch test in this leaf, we will see that it does not turn blue black. That means it does not show the starch test. This experiment proves that carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis. You get questions from this experiment also. Let's see the next one. Now this is the Hydrilla plant. So what we do, we have taken an aquatic plant, Hydrilla. The setup is done like this. In a funnel, glass funnel, we have taken the Hydrilla plant. A beaker is filled with water. There's a test tube, and test tube is full of water which is inverted over the end of the funnel. And this setup is kept in sunlight for a few hours. So we will see that after some hours, after a few hours, here oxygen gas, here there will be an empty space that will develop. And why that empty space? It was initially filled with water, and after a few hours we will see that the water level goes down and empty space develops. What is that empty space? That is because oxygen gas is produced by this Hydrilla plant. This Hydrilla plant performs photosynthesis and produces oxygen. How do we know this is oxygen? So we can test the gas present over here is oxygen by the glowing splinter, so which will rekindle, which shows that the gas present here is oxygen, right? So this experiment proves that oxygen is produced during the process of photosynthesis. Let's look at some board questions that you get from this chapter. Write the overall chemical equation for photosynthesis. This is a 2025 question. Write the equation correctly. Do not forget to write the sunlight and chlorophyll over the arrows, and it was a 1 mark question. Draw a neat label diagram to show that oxygen is released during photosynthesis. You will do the Hydrilla plant experiment and you will have to draw the diagram of that. You will also have to write 2-3 lines you should write, because draw a neat label diagram to show, you will write, and just 1 or 2 lines you should write explanation about the experiment. Next is name the following. The physiological process which is the starting point of all food chains. 1 mark question. It will be photosynthesis. Next, the site of light reaction in the cells of a green leaf is. It will obviously be light reaction they are telling. It will be grana of the chloroplast 2024. So write the overall chemical equation for photosynthesis has come again. in 2024. That same reaction that I had told you before, that equation of photosynthesis, you know. Next is a potted plant with variegated leaves variegated leaf experiment was kept in dark for 24 hours and then placed in bright sunlight. Answer the following question. Which aspect of photosynthesis is being tested in the above diagram? So what are we testing here? That chlorophyll is important for the process of photosynthesis, or chlorophyll is required for the process of photosynthesis. Why was the plant kept in dark for 24 hours? It was kept to de-starch the plant. Next is, after the starch test, what will be the color of the yellow and green parts of the leaf? So green part will show the starch test, will become blue-black, but the yellow part will not show, it will remain brown in color. Next is, look at 2020. Diagram given below represents an experiment to prove the importance of factor in photosynthesis. Answer the questions that follow. So look over here, a part of the leaf is kept in a jar which contains KOH. That means this leaf is not getting carbon dioxide. So which factor is being studied here? The factor that is studied is that carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis, or carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. What is the purpose of keeping KOH in the flask? So that it absorbs the carbon dioxide and this leaf does not get any carbon dioxide and it will not perform the function of photosynthesis. Next, explain the term photosynthesis definition. You have to write perfect definition, write all the keywords, do not miss any of the keyword. What will you observe when the leaf A is tested for starch? So the part of the leaf which was inside the jar will not show iodine test, will not show starch test because it did not get any carbon dioxide. But the part which was outside, that will show the starch test. Write a well-balanced chemical equation for the process of photosynthesis. Every time the equation comes, definition comes. So practice them well. You have to give reason, give a suitable biological reason. All life on earth is supported by photosynthesis. So what you will write? The green plants have got the ability to perform photosynthesis. So all living organisms, directly or indirectly, they depend on the green plants. So all life on earth is supported by photosynthesis. Next, mention the exact location of the following. Thylakoid, exact location they are asking. So what you will write? Inside the chloroplast, in the stroma or the ground substance. Look again, here the diagram given below represents an experiment to prove the importance of a factor in photosynthesis. Answer. Name the factors studied in this experiment. So see, we are covering a part of the leaf with black paper, so which means that part will not get any light and photosynthesis will not happen in that part. So here the factor that we are studying is that light is required for photosynthesis. Light is important for photosynthesis. That will be the factor, the first question's answer. Second is, what will you observe in the experimental leaf after the starch test? So we will say that part of the leaf which was covered with black paper will not show starch test, whereas the part which were not covered with black paper will show the starch test. Next is, give a balanced chemical equation to represent the process of photosynthesis. The equation is so important. Almost every year you are getting the equation. And draw a neat label diagram of an experimental setup to show that oxygen is released during photosynthesis. So here you have to draw the Hydrilla plant experiment. Draw the diagram neatly and label it neatly. The chemical used to test the presence of starch, just 1 mark question, it will be iodine, right? So the next question, 2021 question paper is not very clear, I'm sorry for that. The process in chloroplast by which ATP is formed by the addition of phosphate to ADP in the presence of light is known as polymerization, which is wrong. It will be phosphorylation, or better to write photophosphorylation. So here it will be photophosphorylation. The process in chloroplast by which ATP is formed by the addition of phosphate to ADP in the presence of light is known as photophosphorylation. Next is, light dependent phase of photosynthesis occurring in the green leaves of the plants takes place in the, so light dependent phase will take place in the grana, and we know dark reaction takes place in the stroma. Question is, light dependent phase, it will be grana. Light dependent phase of photosynthesis, so answer will be grana of the chloroplast. So the common mistakes that students do. Number one, when you write the experiment, do not forget to mention that the plant should be destarched first. When you are writing the light reaction, do not forget to mention photolysis. It is very important step, photolysis of water. When you are drawing chloroplast diagram, it is a double layered membrane. So while drawing, do not forget to draw two membranes. If you draw only single line, marks cut. You will not get marks. So do not forget to draw the double membrane. Then sometimes the students, they get confused between the light reaction and dark reaction. Remember, light reaction takes place in the grana of the chloroplast and dark reaction takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. So in light reaction, photolysis of water takes place, splitting and oxygen is produced. Dark reaction takes place in the stroma where carbon dioxide is converted to glucose. So remember these. Next, I am doing the chapter transpiration with you. So draw a neat label diagram of stomata in your notebooks today. Hope you liked this explanation of the chapter photosynthesis and you found it useful for your board exams. If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.